Hey PSL, it's your Mayor Greg Orvek here for a special edition, the After Turkey edition of PSL Living. And today we have a couple of very special guests. You know, in Port St. Lucie, we're lucky to live in the safest large city in Florida. And another thing that we're known for is our parks. In fact, some people call Port St. Lucie Park St. Lucie. So I'm joined by the venerable Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation, Bradley Keene. And also, don't confuse him with David Hasselhoff. His name is Tim Imhoff of Musco Lighting. How are you, gentlemen?
Doing well, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor.
And we have a table set up with green felt. We're not going to shoot pool. We are going to
demonstrate the latest technology in sports lighting. So we can light our fields, not only for the safety of the participants on the fields, but also keeping the adjacent residential neighbors happy with the amount of light spill and glare that they'll receive from their homes.
So Brad, sometimes we joke that, we can make some of the people happy some of the time, but can't make all the people happy all the time. So even with something as positive and lovable as parks do sometimes create impacts on the surrounding neighbors, right? Could you just take us through like what our parks are, like the types of parks that we have, and then when you get up to that highest, that most intense category that might have lights?
As with any development, you develop anything anywhere, it's going to have an impact, positive or negative. We hope to go down the road where we have far more positive impacts to not only the adjacent neighbors, but to the city as a whole than we do negative. In our park system, the nomenclature in the city of Port St. Lucie were divided primarily between three different types of parklands. The first being, and what most people are familiar with, are the intensely developed full-time recreational sports parks. These have the lighted baseball, soccer, football fields. These are the parks that have the recognized youth leagues, football, soccer, baseball, as well as larger playgrounds. These are facilities that typically are larger in acreage, and they can accommodate a lot more or higher numbers of the city's population coming to use them. The second criteria, or the second category of parks, is our neighborhood park system. These are, generally speaking, smaller in size. They are lesser intensely developed, and they don't have staff, and they also are only open for the public's use from 8 in the morning till sunset, which obviously varies in time throughout the year. But still, you could have playgrounds, open space ball fields, restrooms, sports courts of some variety in a neighborhood park. And then the third category would be our open space preserves. These can be found throughout the city. Sometimes they're just wooded lots, but they're city owned. Others are cleared, but just have open space areas that are not developed in any way, shape, or form. They're just green open space.
Well, thank you for dropping some knowledge on us, Bradley. So am I cheating when I call our organized sports parks a regional park? Am I just making that up?
I wouldn't clarify them as regional in nature. They're certainly community-sized parks, yes.
So community. So rather than using 5 or 6 words, how could we just cheat it down to one word? Call it a community park?
Community park, correct.
All right. So a community park, even though it's a great thing and so many kids and families and people are recreating and enjoying life there, they do create impacts. And sometimes, I get a call or two, or maybe a little Facebook post or an email, and it seems like at these very active parks, traffic could be an issue. Yep. Parking, noise from loudspeakers, if it's a called game, and believe it or not, lighting.
Lights.
And I think here today we're going to really focus on that aspect of lights, because just to put it out there, in our budget, we have squirreled away some money to continue to improve our Jessica Clinton Park.
That's correct.
And so right now in Jessica Clinton Park, we have lighted baseball fields. Mm-hmm. But we have this great football field. Gets a little damp, but you're working on that too.
Working on that as well.
But you can't use it at night for football or soccer because you're in the dark.
It does not have lights, that's correct.
And so we've always had plans, and we're finally there. Thank goodness we're out of the recession. Yes. So tell us, Tim and Bradley, about how we're going to make sure that when we put lights in Jessica Clinton, we're not going to ruin the quality of life for the surrounding single-family homeowners.
You made an excellent point, and you're absolutely correct that lighting any facility is always a concern, because two things. Number one, you want to have the safety of the participants that are on the field. You don't want to light a field with substandard lighting and a participant in that activity is going to get hurt.
Now, you don't want to get bonked in the face by a football flying 30 miles an hour, do you?
Because you couldn't see it.
That's right.
Or the lights are positioned or
forget
organized in such a way that the lights are blinding to the participants on the field. Conversely, you have adjacent neighbors that may have nothing to do with the park, but they live across the street, and they have legitimate concerns. They don't want to sit in their living room and read their newspaper by the glare coming off the park field. So both concerns are real and they're legitimate, and we try to attack both using technology and science. And I'm extremely pleased to have with us today Mr. Tim Emhoff from Musco Lighting. Musco Lighting has been the long-standing sports lighting provider for the city. They have the highest quality products.
Aren't they a recognized leader in the field?
They're a recognized leader in the field. They light the Statue of Liberty. They light the White House. They lit Daytona Speedway for nighttime racing. They know what they're doing when it comes to nighttime and sports lighting. And with that being said, I'll turn over the specifics and the technology to Mr. Emhoff and let him explain what we're talking about today.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity to come in to talk to you about our product and technology. And the simple side of today is really addressing two key issues. One, to make sure, as you mentioned, that we have safe level of light on the playing surface to meet IES standards for safety.
What does that mean?
Great question. Illumination Engineers Society, they set the rules for what you should light certain venues to.
Okay.
And so we're going to make sure for the soccer/football multi-purpose that we're going to meet all of those IES requirements for the city of Port St. Lucie. So once we get past making sure that the quality of light is there, now we've got to address knowing, as you mentioned, Brad, that this is going to go into a community. So in this case, we actually have residences surrounding this park on 2 or 3 sides.
Correct.
So we need to make sure that we have safe play, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we don't become a nuisance to the neighbors.
That's correct.
So what Musco has done is we have developed a product which we're going to show you here in just a few minutes. It's our TLC for LED product technology. That's the name of this product. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do just a little demonstration here for you.
So, but what do we got on the table here, Tim? So we have your TLC. Is that like a standard glare?
Yes, this is a standard glare visor that the industry itself says, hey,
Hold on a second. Is this Brad after his New Year's diet right
that's
here?
Right. That's 90 days later.
Should I paste on short hair or long hair for you, Brad?
No more long hair.
Did you see him in his ZZ Top days?
I didn't.
Oh,
I don't remember.
He's always special regardless, but...
He's made me forget about that, throw away all the pictures.
There's no pictures.
So this is a product that, quite honestly, Mayor and Brad, that the industry is saying, hey, if you just put a glare visor, on this particular fixture, that's going to take care of your glare needs. And we're going to show you in just a few moments, that's not a good fix for this application.
That's what your competitors say. Musco would never say that. That's why they got the TLC model.
We do. We've got this TLC model, which is total light control.
Oh, I thought it was tender loving care.
And it could be that too.
It could be that too.
And it could be providing the tender loving care to the communities where these fields are in. So what we've done is we've completely revamped everything in our product line to adhere to the TLC for LED. So what's going to happen is this particular product, when it comes shipped, is going to have this exact look on your facility. Of course, on your facility, there's going to be about 60 plus of these on 6 total poles.
And are they going to be screwed in so the hurricane doesn't blow them off?
Yeah, they are actually designed to meet the wind speeds here of South Florida of 177 miles per hour. So we had projects down in Key West that were installed 3 weeks before the storm. We did not lose one fixture, and not one fixture was out of aim.
Nice work.
So that was a great story for Musco and the product and its ability to withstand the winds that we say they're going to withstand.
Well, and the couple extra miles per hour makes a difference because obviously these aren't at our height. They're high in the air.
Correct.
And the wind speed goes up as you go up in height/altitude.
That's exactly right.
It's important.
Absolutely. Yes, we're going to have, as I mentioned, 6 poles, 3 on each side of this facility, and they're going to be at a mounting height of 80 feet above grade. Okay? So what I'm going to do right now is obviously this is a demo purpose, and you won't be able to do that in the field, take that off and on, but for the demo purpose, we're just going to turn this fixture on, and then one of the benefits of LED is it comes on instantly. So it's not like the metal halide.
We don't have to wait for it to warm up?
You don't have to wait for it to warm up.
Or
it comes
cool
on
down.
at 100% the second you turn it on. And if it goes off in a brownout, like there's a little glitch in the power, you might have to wait 20 minutes, 30 minutes. The game will be immediately be able to get started again.
Yeah, there's 100 examples. I mean, if you've ever played tennis, you know, sometimes the timer goes off, or basketball or whatever, and then you have to wait. Especially a sport like tennis where you have a smaller circumference on the on the ball. It's a real bummer. So.
Absolutely. So no more slowdowns on your games that are actively going on. So as you can see, I've turned on the LED diodes, and that produces a lot of glare.
Oh, and for the kids at home, what does LED stand for?
LED, eliminating emitting diode.
Yeah.
Yes.
So light emitting diode?
Light emitting diode. And quite honestly,
there'll be a test, kids.
Yes.
Test.
I'll dive into that for a second. They actually never go off. They never, you may not see it, but they're still on. However, Musco does provide a 25-year parts and labor and equipment warranty for 25 years. You guys won't have to touch this maintenance-wise.
Brad likes that.
For 25 years.
And the council likes it too because of the budget implications.
25 years, you won't have to touch it. So it's probably the camera can see here is it's producing
if Avi is doing his job.
a lot of candela. Now that's a technical word to say glare. See, the automobile industry.
Hit me again.
It's the word is candela, which is another word for glare.
Okay.
You know, when you're driving down the road, if something's glary, or you put your lights up, your hand up, and you go, oh, that really hurts. To give you, for instance, high beams of a car produce about 50,000 candela. We know that because the automobile industry spends millions of dollars to do that research. So if somebody has their high beams on and they're driving down the road, you know it. You hit your flashers and, you know, put your hand up. You might even say a bad word, and you hope that they turn it off quickly.
Brad wouldn't do that.
Never do that. However, low beams produce somewhere in the 12,000 to 15,000 candela. That's much more comfortable to us, and so typically for most people, that's not a concern or problem. So we're going to be talking about candela a little bit more towards the end of this, because candela is important in that this product has to and should have the ability to dramatically reduce the candela off of the field.
What's the candela right now in this demonstration unit?
This demonstration, this product is producing 114,432 candela.
All right, because I'm not going to be able to see at tonight's council meeting.
That's right. That's right.
2 iPads.
That's right.
That is bright.
That probably hurts you a little bit just from your angle.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do in a few minutes, when we put the TLC LED visor on it, we're going to go from 114,000 and change.
Let me see if this works.
There you go.
That works.
That's got to work. We're going to take it all the way from that high number, which we know is extremely uncomfortable, per fixture. That's a per fixture candela reading. And we're going to take it all the way down to, at a 15th degree above vertical, to about 29. So all the way from 114,000, which you see here, to 29. So as I compared that to a low beam headlight, which I told you was 12 to 15,000, now we're down to just 29. That means you don't notice that it's there. So for the purposes of the demonstration, I'm just going to go ahead and put this visor on. It has a little magnetic on there so I can take it on and off. Again, this is now producing 114,000 candela. And now at 15 degrees above vertical, which is coming up off the field, which then could be protruding into neighborhoods and streets, now is producing 29.
Amazing.
Candela.
So 29, not 29,000.
Not 29,000. 29, just 29.
And Tim, could you explain very briefly the difference between glare and light spill? Is there a difference?
Right. There is a huge difference. Glare has no relevance to distance, meaning there could be a home 2,000 feet away, 5,000 feet away. If you're in the direct path of that fixture aiming angle, that could affect you and would affect you. Now, I could go out 5,000 feet out, and there'd be zero light. But glare has no relevance to distance, so it's still going to be uncomfortable. Where light dissipates over distance. So the further I get away from the field with a light meter, the lesser that value is going to be. And so I don't have to go very far, and it continues to drop. Every step it's going to drop a little bit more. But glare, as I stated, no relevance to distance. It could affect, if done poorly, it could affect a mile easily in all directions.
So
that's unacceptable.
That would be unacceptable.
Glare is that glow you see on the horizon if you're driving down a dark road at night and you see off in the distance.
Correct.
So that's the glare you're speaking of.
Correct. There's going to be several things here that they're going to see right away. Number one, with LED, the field is going to look a little brighter, even though it's the same light level. Why is that? Because we've gone from a 4,500 Kelvin temperature, which is still a white light, to a 5,700 Kelvin temperature, which is a little bit whiter.
So time out. So everybody at home, this is when you're at Lowe's or Home Depot and you're looking at that chart there, picking out your color and your temperature.
It's exactly
of
right.
lighting.
It's exactly right. That's exactly what this is. So in essence, the field is going to look a little bit lighter and a little bit brighter, but it's still going to be the correct foot candle levels that all of your parks are.
Correct.
The other thing that you're going to notice above and beyond all of the parks that you presently have, the parks that you have out there for the whole system does not have this type of glare control. To give you, for instance, at 15 degrees above vertical, that candela, the best product you have out there right now is our green technology, and that's producing about 17,000 candela at that 15 degrees. Again, this is producing 29.
Can you give us an equivalent of what 29 means? Is that like
it's virtually almost nothing.
Is it 100 watt? What's a 100 watt light bulb? What's a 60 watt light bulb? Is there anything?
It would be less than a candle.
Less than a candle.
Less than a candle when you're home. So when you put the difference of this, again, 114,000 candela per fixture. So again, the number of fixtures times all of that candela. Again, you would be able to see this if you did it poorly and you allowed this type of technology without the proper glare control, we would see it from Orlando.
114,000 candela plus obnoxious glare.
Correct. So, now, the nice thing about Orlando is you could say, hey, if you're heading to Port St. Lucie, just look for the sky glow, and that's going to take you right to Jessica Clinton Park. But again, 114,000 candela, and again, it's good to see this a couple times, to 29 candela. It'll far exceed...
the equivalent of a candle.
Less than.
Less than.
Less than. It'll far exceed anything and everything, not only in your city, but in every other city. Now, we have 5,000 fixtures already installed in Florida, in the state of Florida. We have one of the biggest parks we've just installed several months ago in Seminole County, just north of here, 350 feet away from the international runway. We lit 15 baseball fields.
Wow. Now, that's impressive. The FAA would not have allowed that if you couldn't do it right.
Absolutely. So the director of that airport had his concerns. We obviously met with him. The day we did the light test, again, 15 fields. We're talking over 100 poles, 1,000 fixtures. Now, we're just lighting one soccer field here. We're 350 feet away from the main runway. The guy goes up in the plane, flies all over the place for an hour, lands, comes over and says, I don't know how you guys did it. He goes, I was concerned, I was worried. There is no glare at all. He goes, this isn't even an issue. We haven't had one complaint. It's been up and operable now for about 4 to 5 months. And so it's been a great project for us. And so we've done FIU, we've done universities, city parks, all over the place now. Again, over 5,000 fixtures. This will just be one added project that we have in Florida. So that, in essence, is about the biggest part of the value. Again, light levels correct on the field, and a humongous reduction of glare and sky glow. We're eliminating sky glow. We're not reducing it. That's not reducing sky glow. That's adding to it. This is eliminating upward sky glow. Eliminating it.
Excellent. So this wasn't for Brad to hit me with, was it then? What was this to demonstrate?
That was just going to demonstrate, putting light on the field is easy. Everybody can do this. Every manufacturer, there's probably hundreds of them at this point with LED, because you can make them literally in your garage today. Everybody can do this on the field. What people can't do is to be able to control this.
They just don't understand the TLC like you do, Tim.
That's exactly right.
Now, Brad, what is our LED light situation? Do we have LED lights anywhere in the city?
Not in the form of a sports lighting package, no, sir.
So help me out with, and help us out with, what does that mean for our power bills going to LED?
Generally speaking, LED to light with an LED system, they operate cooler temperatures. They are less expensive to operate. They're longer lasting. So there's budget savings all the way around, both from the immediate operational, your monthly bills from FP&L, to the long-term bills for having to replace or relamp over time. So there's considerable advantages to going to LED.
Tim, you got a little fun fact? I didn't prep you for this. You got a little fun fact?
Yeah, little fun fact with LED.
You got any percentage off of halide or anything like that?
You're going to see at least a 50% reduction in your energy bill. That's huge.
It is huge.
When you take a look at every single month, 50% less, and you know, Mayor, we know that FPL bills probably in the future are not going down. They're going up. And so this helps offset some of your short-term and long-term budgets. So as you continue to not only work with this particular application and field that you're looking at potentially lighting, but in other applications, whether it be tennis, basketball, you know, whatever that might be, you're looking at 50%. In fact, I'm working on a project in Palm Beach Gardens, 72% energy savings.
Excellent.
It's huge.
Now, Tim, here in Port St. Lucie, we have some sticklers out there. So PSL, I know that life cycle cost also matters, and the differential and installation costs, and you have to prove it over the lifetime costs. We know, but 50% plus on the savings going to LED, and then it doesn't hurt to have that 25-year warranty.
Absolutely.
So bring us home, boys. Anything else that you'd like to share with the people of PSL here in the after Thanksgiving special edition of PSL Living?
Well, Mr. Mayor, I know how important it is, transparency is to you, to making sure the public and the residents of Port St. Lucie have all the information available to them so that they understand why decisions that are made on the city level are made. And I would encourage them that they can go to YouTube and search, is it Denver?
Yeah, they could go Notre Dame High School in Arizona, and that was a situation where it was an LED project that was installed, not using this technology. It was installed, and immediately the neighbors complained a lot. In fact, the city shut them down. It was a brand new facility. They gave the manufacturer 6 months to fix that problem. They couldn't do it, and so they came back to us, and
they asked for TLC.
We did.
They asked for TLC.
We were able to relight their brand new facility. Unfortunately, they had to pay for it twice. So it was a lesson they had to learn the hard way. But it was a situation where now we've met.
Life's too short to learn everything the hard way.
Yes, right. It is. So they were able to now utilize the facility, and it's been a great facility for them ever since.
And so that video and the demonstration can be found on YouTube. And to me, it's just an amazing to witness it in reality of what this glare control will do. If you live across the street, you're going to know you live across the street from a lighted soccer field or a multi-purpose field. But as I said, the light control and the glare control is just phenomenal. It's not like the days of old where, as Tim said, you know, you could live 2,000 feet away and still be affected by a sports lighting project.
It's not going to intrude into the sanctity of their home.
No, it's
not going to negatively impact them in that way. And so basically what you're saying is, instead of doing this whole show, we could have just put on a link to YouTube and Notre Dame High School in Arizona. Is that correct?
You could have.
So you heard it here. You heard it here. We could have been more efficient there with the link. But then, of course, you wouldn't have had Tim Imhoff and Bradley Keene, Parks Guru. So PSL, thank you for joining us for the special edition of PSL Living. And remember, we're lucky to live in PSL. Thank you.